Hi guys, I'm Eric with Mathews, and in this video we're going to talk about how to hook up your fill and takeaway equipment on a Pinnacle 2020 dryer. All Pinnacle 2020 machines are equipped with a 12-inch by 12-inch customer equipment box. Inside this box we house all of the contacts that you'll need to hook up your fill and takeaway equipment. So we're going to take a closer look at what these contacts do and how to hook up your equipment. First, we'll look at your fill contacts. You'll notice there are 6 fill contacts. They're labeled F1 through F6. Up here we have the wire numbers from what comes from our system, but we're going to focus on what the customer will be attaching on the back end. Fill 1 and Fill 2 is your fill status signal. Fill 3 and Fill 4 is your Fill 2 on signal. And F5 and F6 is your Fill 1 on signal. F1 and F2 is a 24 volt signal. It's normally closed and it's a status signal to the PLC. This is a way for you to wire in your auxiliary contacts to let us know if your equipment has tripped. If you're not going to use this signal, make sure a jumper is installed. F3 and F4 is an unpowered, normally open relay contact. This will turn any equipment on when the Fill 2 on command comes on. So any equipment tied to this signal will start immediately when the call for grain is given, and it'll be the last fill equipment to turn off at the end. F5 and F6 is another unpowered, normally open contact. Any equipment plugged in here will run alongside the Fill 1 on command from the PLC. This equipment has a delayed start after the call for grain becomes active, and it'll stop after the call for grain but before the Fill 2 on. So if you have a very simple setup and you're only hooking up an auger to your dryer, I recommend you plug it into the F5, F6 set. The takeaway contacts are very similar. You can see we have 6, T1 through T6. Again, we have our wire numbers that come from our side, but on the customer side, T1 and T2 is the takeaway status. T3 and T4 is the takeaway 2 on signal. T5 and T6 is the takeaway 1 on signal. T1 and T2 is a 24 volt DC, normally closed status signal to the PLC. Once again, you can use this to jump through any auxiliary contacts on takeaway equipment to tell us if your equipment has tripped. If you're not going to use this signal, make sure a jumper is installed. T3 and T4 is an unpowered, normally open relay contact. Equipment on this signal will be tied to the takeaway 2 on command from the PLC. This equipment will start before the metering and it'll stop after the metering at the same time as the takeaway 1. T5 and T6 is another unpowered, normally open contact. It'll run alongside the takeaway 1 on signal from the PLC. This one will start at the same time as the metering, and it'll stop after the metering at the same time as the takeaway 2. So the main difference between these two signals is that this signal will start before your metering, and the second signal, T5 and 6, will start at the same time as the metering. If you have a very simple setup with one auger leaving the dryer, we recommend you use the T3, T4 set. So that's been a quick overview of the takeaway and fill contacts. I hope it was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.